There was this article that I came across yesterday, and I was like, "Oh hell no!" First of all, we're gonna come up in here and read this motherfucker down to the goddamn ground. So Nelson Peltz, the activist investor agitating to win 2 Disney board seats, please God don't let him get on it, criticized the company's woke strategy, specifically questioning Marvel's Black Panther and the Marvels, which featured Black and women leads. The 81-year-old, of course, he's got one foot in the goddamn grave. Another thing I didn't know about Nelson Peltz, I didn't know that he was Brooklyn Beckham's father-in-law. That he's married to one of his kids, as in Victoria Beckham and David Beckham's son. The 81-year-old Peltz has admitted he never claimed to have experience in the media business, made the comments about the Marvels of Black Panther in a recent interview with the Financial Times, saying, why do I have to have a Marvel movie that's all women? Not that I have anything against women. Clearly you do, if that's what you said. But why do I have to do that? Why can't I have Marvels that are both? Why do I need an all black cast? Well, here's the thing, what I always say. If you need to ask, then there's the problem. It's the same thing I always ask about when it comes to tickets. Somebody asked me the other day, how much is like on the in the section when I was at Madison Square Garden, and the guy was like, "How much would tickets for a Rangers game go in this section?" I was in the 200 sections, which is like a little bit up higher. It's on the 10th floor. It's like more of the cheaper seats or whatever. And I was having a conversation with one of my coworkers, and they were like, "Well, if they have to ask, then you can't afford it." It's the same thing I asked about this. If you have to ask, why does there have to be an all-female cast of a film, or why is there an all-black cast for a film? Then there's a problem because if we were actually all playing on an equal playing field where it wasn't just about white males getting all opportunities in Hollywood, because women go through some shit too. Not as bad as white women. Black women probably get it even worse being working actors in Hollywood. But for the most part, if you have to ask, then there's a problem. But I should also point out when you watch Black Panther, it's not an all black cast. It's not. First of all, Julie Louis Dreyfus was in the film. We also had Martin Freeman was in the film, both of them. So when you sit up here and say all black cast, there were white people throughout that movie. Wasn't George St. Pierre one of them too, or was that one? Was that the one where Black Panther first made his appearance? I'm trying to remember because it's been a minute since I've seen any of the previous MCU movies. And here's the thing: when you in the way I look at things, especially let's talk about Black Panther for a second. So Black Panther came at a time where it was just like, first of all, it was smart, the marketing. They released it around February, Black History Month. Seeing a black superhero on the big screen and really celebrating their fake Africa as Wakanda and bringing in the politics and this beautiful, lush world and showing black people as kings and queens and ruling and running things and just seeing that celebration of just what it's like being black. And that's what that was about. It was like a cultural event when you went to see the first Black Panther movie. I remember that. The second one, not so much because, Chadwick Boseman passed away from cancer. And then there was all the stuff that happened with that. And they were trying to figure out how to make this film work at a time when they lost their lead for the film. So they had to figure out something. But the original film, it created this cultural phenomenon. And I think when it comes to these sort of things, when you get a film where it's like an all-female cast or a female lead in a superhero film, whether it's an all-female cast, whether it's a gay superhero, whether it's a black superhero, whatever the case is, people want to see something different and showing like, you know what? When I look at this person on the screen, that I could aspire to be that. That's why we like those things. I have these things. It ain't about being woke. It's not about being all these other dumb shit. It's the fact that diversity is important because you know, there are people out here. It's like, well, when I was growing up, when I was a kid and I was growing up, I didn't really have any superheroes that I could look up to that looked like me. That was a person of color that may have been queer or whatever the case is. Now, when you create those spaces with a Black Panther or a Blade or one of those type of characters or Spawn, you could aspire to be those characters. Same thing with women. There's women that probably look to be I know there's women out there who aspire to be Wonder Woman or aspire to be Batwoman or Batgirl or what other female superheroes? Black Widow, Scarlet Witch. Storm. All these different characters. Maybe there's some women out there that want to grow up and shade their head to be a member of the Dora Milaje. Who knows? But the fact of the matter is, these are the things we need. And this is why what irritates me about this industry is that you have a guy like this who's got one foot in the grave to begin with, who says he's not anti-women or whatever the case is, but you clearly just made a misogynistic comment. And then you're questioning Kevin Feige's track record, which gagged the fuck out of me. And I should also point out that you know what? Chadwick Boseman's film growth that the first Black Panther grossed $1.35 billion at the worldwide box office. So clearly people care. This is why we need it. Because and even though the Marvels flopped with a $206 million, overhaul that it made, the original one grossed $1.13 billion. But I think the reason why Captain Marvel flopped because it wasn't a good movie. It had nothing to do with the fact that these women were in it. And I felt like that film was a little too paint by number. First of all, the script was all over the place. It didn't make any sense in a lot of the logical sense. They kept going in with reshoots, rewrites, changing up things. It was just a disaster. And that could have stemmed from the fact of Bob Chapek being there, fucking up the thing. Not Bob Iger, because under the original one, it was under Bob Iger. So clearly, and Kevin Feige had more say so. So I don't understand how this guy's up here questioning Kevin Feige's track record when Kevin Feige ushered this the whole MCU and everything, especially the first three phases, across the $1 billion mark multiple times. It wasn't until Bob Chapek came in and Bob Iger stepped down that he came in with his people. And that's what happens when you get a regime change. You get new people coming in. They don't know how shit was working over here. They don't know what they were doing, or they don't care. And they want to come in with their own ideas and they want to change things up and they want to do whatever they do, which causes the other work to suffer. Or y'all want to change up stuff, and then now Kevin Feige's like, okay, twiddle his thumbs. You're taking away a lot of his work and the things that he's been doing, and now he's watching the ship with the franchise on it, sink like the Titanic. So in a way, I'm glad that Bob Iger's back. They're righting the wrongs. Hopefully we can get phase 5 up and running, and how they're going to work in the whole Blade, the supernatural aspect of the MCU into this world. Where is Shang-Chi too? Like, we need all of that stuff as well. So this guy is an idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And like I said, Kevin Feige's track record speaks for itself. He's helped usher the MCU into over across the $1 billion mark a plethora, numerous times. So I don't understand why his track record is being questioned. It's funny how, like, when the gravy train isn't as gravy as it once was, now everybody wants to, when things are going bad is when they want to question shit. But when the money is coming in and everything is going good, then you got your mouth is closed. You ain't got shit to say. So this guy's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And my thing is, this is another thing that I'm irritated about in this industry. We have someone yet again who says, oh, yeah, I have no experience in Hollywood and I don't understand how the business works. So why the fuck do y'all want to come in and infiltrate this space? And this is what I've been noticing is happening with a lot of movies in Hollywood, is why a lot of them lately, there's been a lot of really good movies that I've noticed has been coming out in 2024. But for the most part, when it comes to a lot of things, this is why when you look at Madam Web and all these other piece of shit films that have been coming out also, why these films aren't really doing well is because you get a lot of people who don't know nothing about making movies and are real movie fans. They're number crunchers, those other stuff, and they're making stupid decisions. Because you get people like him that want to come in and work in these spaces, but you're not smart in the art department. You don't know what you're talking about when it comes to being creative and making movies, and you didn't go to school and learn all that. Y'all just think because y'all got a fat fucking wallet that y'all can just come in and dictate how movies are made. And that's not always the case, because movie fans, at the end of the day, will see through your bullshit. Trust and believe on that.